Yeah, being on the election board for 10 years, that's been a struggle for us. Everybody always says we need to get people to vote, we need to get people to vote. You go out there and you register them, but you can't make them vote. How do we get the membership interested in voting? Is something that somebody brought up not very long ago was, do we, go to electronics? Would that be easier? But then by doing that, you eliminate a lot of our elders because a lot of them don't even know how to turn on a computer, let alone vote on it. I think Facebook will help encourage our young people. I think that's where we're missing the boat, is our younger people that are turning 18. How do we get them involved? How do we get them to know that their vote is important? I know that we've talked to some of them, they said, well, I don't vote because I didn't think it mattered. We need to encourage them that it does matter. Your vote does matter. Someday you could be sitting here wanting to run for council. So by encouraging our younger people to get involved today, because they are the future of this tribe. It's a struggle. I know, every constitutional amendment I've been involved in, we lose 400 or more people that register and don't vote. Why would they take the time to register but not vote? It doesn't make sense. All I can say is encourage people, talk to people, get our youth involved. I think that's where we're struggling, is with our youth. Thank you.
Go, Lisa.
I think one of the biggest pieces about getting young people involved, I think there's two parts to this question that I would like to answer. The first being, I think our youth feel disengaged from the tribe in general. So when you talk to them about something like voting that is abstract in a sense, that's a really hard concept when they're not even participating in the tribe in general. So I think somewhere there's this, now our young children are involved in our tribe since they're 2 years old. They have the opportunity to be involved in our Head Start program. And we have youth programs, and we do a great job of really engaging our youth and making them a part of our tribe, our daily tribe. Once they become 18, there isn't a lot available for them. And I think at that part, that's the piece where they kind of start going their own direction and we lose them. So I think if we want them involved and we want them voting, we have to figure out ways to engage them in our community. And we currently just don't have a lot of services for that. So I think that's one area. I'll just give my own personal thoughts or opinions about the BIA proposed election that we just had, and for me, I feel like there wasn't the information given for people to make a sound decision. And I think that, from a program standpoint, and when we go out and we're gonna share something with a member, we're gonna present it to tribal council for consideration, we have to have the information. People need and want information, and they're, in this day and age with all the data that we collect and the information out there in the world, it's just not good enough to say we don't know. And I know that from speaking to a lot of people, they just didn't, whether they were voting for or against, they didn't have the information to do that. And I think that was evident in the vote.
Thanks, Lisa. Michael, let's go to Michael next, and then who else would like to speak? I'll get it. Then we'll go to Monty, then we'll go to Kathleen, that's Jackie, and Denise now. Okay, go ahead, Michael.
Well, I especially agree with everything that Lisa just said about the youth, so I won't go into that too much. They do feel like it doesn't really pertain to them for the most part. And also, some of the issues around that is there's a little bit of a toxic environment in the way we handle things. So part of it is we as leaders have to be able to demonstrate that we can agree and not decide we're not going to be friends over that disagreement. That sets the tone at the top, and I think that trickles down to the membership, especially the youth. The data, though, to me, I agree with what Lisa was saying. That was really, really a big problem for a lot of people. A problem for me. I'm a numbers guy. I want to know numbers. I want to know what impacts are. I want to know that not just enrollment, on any decision. That, to me, that's an important thing. Not one, because you can, if you have the numbers, you can overcome arguments that, you know, that better support your position. And without having good data, people fear that, and they're just going to revert back to some base beliefs that they have. So in anything we do, financial, enrollment, whatever it may be, we need to have good data, and we need to go out there and share it. It's not just enough to have it, we have to share it with the membership. So that's kind of what I would probably suggest, is that we gather the data. I think I did a podcast with Chris, and we discussed that about the enrollment, that we need to start enrolling our descendants, not necessarily for full membership, but just so we have that data anytime anything comes up like this. Because at some point, everybody that I talk to says we need to change blood quantum at some point. The time to gather that data is now, so that we know exactly what we're getting into. So I guess that's what I would say.
Thank you, Michael. Monty?
All right, well, this is an area I excel in and feel good about. Just while I've been sitting here, I mean, I came up with 3 things. One of the first things we do whenever we want to address a problem from an academic standpoint, or we're doing academic research to work in the Native community stuff, is the first thing we do is do a survey. And that can be electronic and paper. And that's just simply to find out what's the climate, what's the temperature of the water. You know, a simple survey to say, hey, when you haven't voted, what were the reasons? Not enough time, not easy enough. What were the reasons why you didn't vote? And then as far as getting young people involved, there's no reason why we can't do some really simple things, like just sending them a birthday card when they turn 18 from the tribe that says, congrats, you're 18, you can vote now. There's a voter registration form included with this card. Let's get you registered so you can be a part of the tribe's business now that you're an adult. Another thing is classes with an incentive can be helpful sometimes. You know, if there's a class that's available to young adults to go to once, but we've done an ask privately and gotten ourselves some Nike gift cards or something that we can give them at the completion of that class that just says why it's important to exercise your civic duty in our nation. This is our nation, and you have a civic duty to engage in, and that's, you know, you're of age now. You can help determine the direction that our tribe moves. And I think that would go a long ways towards getting some young people engaged and involved.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks. Well, I think, you know, one thing we have to do too is we have to all kind of adopt a responsibility for creating a culture of being part of a tribe. Being a tribal member means you participate. It means you vote. I was talking to somebody right before we came all up here, and he said he and Grandpa, they call everybody in the family. Did you get your ballot? Did you send it in? I mean, that's sort of creating a culture of responsibility. And we should indeed be doing that and checking up on each other. I agree that when, you know, our young people you mentioned turn 18, or when the famous or infamous 21 money comes, that's a blessing, but it's also a responsibility. Congratulations, you know, you're an adult member of this tribe. You have a wonderful opportunity, and you also have some responsibilities. We want you to get involved in a number of ways. We hope that you will vote. We hope that you will serve on a committee. I actually think technology provides us a lot of new opportunities. Not only will this conversation be shared online and viewed by dozens of people who can't come to Grand Ronde, hopefully hundreds, but our Wednesday night meetings and our council meetings are watched by lots and lots of people who can't come. That's actually a great sign that people are interested enough to take time out of their Saturday or Wednesday night to find out what's going on. What we could do to build upon that is make it much easier for them to comment on what's going on in this tribe. And I think if people are more engaged throughout the year, they're more likely to be engaged when it comes time to vote. And we actually regularly have comment periods on a wide number of actions that our council takes. It's extremely rare that our membership ever submits comments on those things, with some real exceptions in the last year, which actually were exciting. But we don't make that easy. We don't tee that up. Well, certainly we let the notice be known. We don't make an easy to use, way for tribal members to submit the information online on our website. Those are the kind of things we could do that I think would let the membership know we want their input and on a regular basis. Facebook was mentioned, and I think Facebook, there's tremendous potential there. You see how many folks, even of our older generations, are on there, but it has to be safe. I mean, in the last couple of months, I think a lot of folks, and at times including myself, wanted to disengage. It is actually incredibly dangerous for somebody to reach out and say, I have an idea I'd like to share and talk to people about. Right now, you will be attacked. Whatever position you put out there, folks are attacked. And it's terribly sad, because this is something we should be harnessing to move forward. And so I think also that's a responsibility that we should all take on. It's okay to have a different idea. It's okay to disagree. And if we want our membership to engage, we want young people to engage, whether that's voting or attending our meetings or even participating in our online forums, it has to be safe to do so, and people have to feel welcome. I think that's something all of us can start doing right away.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, and these are all concerns that we've all talked about at least over the last 3 years that I've been on council. I think it's difficult to sometimes get the membership engaged when you have a divided council, you have a divided membership, there's misinformation that's put out there, it confuses people, it distracts people, and being very honest and upfront and not putting misinformation out there, I think is extremely important, because I have seen it happen, especially on social media, and then it just confuses everybody, and everybody doesn't know what to believe, what they're voting for, what they're not voting for. And a lot of people, and I think those 500 people that don't vote, they're just so disgusted with everything, I'm not even gonna vote on this. And they just put it to the side, even though they registered. So one way to get the youth involved, we did try and establish a youth council. And for whatever reason at the LAC meeting, that got put on the back burner, and I don't know where that's at today. I worked really hard on that for about 3 years to get it to the LAC, and that, for some reason, is now not on the agenda. I've been trying to establish an email list where all information goes out to our members that register on the mailing list for emails. They get job notices, they can get election notices, they can get reminders. It's an easy click, it doesn't cost any money. It's just, but we have to create that database of the members. And I know there are some elders that will not be on that, and they prefer to have theirs in the mail or in the smoke signals, and that's fine, but I think about 95% of our membership do use email and would read those emails, and you could just send them out regularly. It's not a cost, it's easy access, it's quick, and it's a reminder. Having access on the website to download our registration forms. I think we just got that done. I haven't seen it on the website yet, but I heard last week that we were finally getting the registration form on the website so people could download it. Having voter registration at our events and just making it, whether a lot of people say, well, we don't need to do that because most of our voters are registered, but it's a reminder. It's like a marketing tool. You have a voter registration booth there. It reminds people as they walk by, oh yeah, I need to remember to vote. Or no, I know somebody who's not registered. Let me get them registered. So I think it's just, and at our general membership meetings, why do we not have that at our general membership meetings? We're supposed to, if we really want to engage our people and remind them, it's a little bit of work on the tribe's behalf, but it's not. I mean, we're there on those meetings for our people, and we should have those services available, easy access. The simpler we make it for people to do, the more they're going to engage in doing it. So, and then another project we've been working on is getting a packet of information to every tribal member that turns 18. They get their voter registration packet, they get insurance information, they get whatever they may need for education or whatever it's in that packet when they turn 18. They receive a full packet from the tribe. I'm kind of wondering why we haven't always done that, but I've been really trying to get that done for the last couple of years, so hopefully we will.
Thanks, Denise. Jackie, let's have you say a few words about how you would increase our voter participation.
All of the ideas or the suggestions that have come out from the candidates are good, and I just kind of want to add a few things in there. I think the student council is a good way to reach them. The Royalty does a lot of PR work. I worked with Royalty for years, and that takes a strong leader. The other thing that I would add maybe to this is we have the voter registration. They do that, so I shouldn't say, bring it up, but so their checks go to their address if they're registered on. You know, and maybe that, I don't know that for a fact, but maybe that's why they register and they don't vote. You know, and it's down to the almighty dollar again. And I think that's a serious thing for our tribe to look at. The other thing with the youth is when they put out this packet, maybe we could have what I was thinking is a life skills type of program that would be online, that would be available for all 18-year-olds. So they have an overview of what, you know, all that money is going to do to or affect them in their life and taxes and education. You know, that's an important part, but so many of them buy a new car and go down the road. But, you know, there is a percentage that buy property or homes and get an education. It saddens me to know or to realize the fact that 60% of our tribal members aren't voting. And I think that would be a job for all candidates, all 9 people to work together on. It wouldn't be just 2 people in a little committee. I think it's going to take everybody and their ideas to get some of this out to the youth, and even elders. They don't understand some of the things. So if they could streamline something that's online, so they can do it if they want. I mean, you can't hold their checks or say you have to do this first, but give them the tools in order to become productive people and prosperous in their life. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.